Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Chocolate Saying, Neil, Arwin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Yo.
Wow,
We're alive today.
100% enthusiasm level. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Not for my tangent plane.
Not since 2019.
That's true.
Nope.
But axial rotation of the Earth-based variety.
Reference frames ruined.
Thanks, Dan. No drift. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence for the distance to the sun.
Or the size.
Or what it is.
Yep.
Boo. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
A reification fallacy.
Spot on.
They need to define it because they use that word so carelessly on whatever answer they don't have. So they just throw in gravity. Now, my question was something else. Why are you bringing that word in? So it's their to-go word, but it means so many things to them now.
Sort of like, how can you have gas pressure? That would be gas expanding in all directions to fill the availability of volume it has to fill, without a volume to fill, without a container for it to press upon. And they say, downward vector, one of them, gravity. And you go, yeah, we're talking about pressure. That's gas expanding in all directions. What's this downward vector got to do with it? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, gas don't go down, go boom, boom, like bouncy balls poured into a fish tank, as asserted by Thunderfoot Clown. You know, if you follow these sorts of idiots, that makes you an idiot, because gas doesn't do that.
Well, there's no demonstratable, like that black and white video where the scientist has the two containers with a valve in between, and he allows the bromine to pass into the vacuum side of it and immediately fills the space. They don't have anything like that to demonstrate gravity for us.
But you know why we're all in this problem with gravity in the first place, right? It's because Newtonian mechanics ignored gas laws. Or maybe the gas laws hadn't been established yet. Not too sure.
But then Newton stay away from saying, don't ascribe what you're saying gravity is to me?
Yeah, quick, name it after him.
Right. But he did understand that gas is there. He did understand friction as part of the equation. He just didn't take into account that gas pressure also expands in all directions.
Right.
He just never addressed it.
Be aware that if you protest too much about things, like saying the notion is to me such a great absurdity, or saying do not attribute this to me, which is the words of Newton in regards to gravity, there's a good chance the powers that should not be, laughing at you as they do so, will attribute that thing to you. Yeah? Now, bearing in mind that I'm a bastard, and when I see weapons on the floor, I'll happily pick them up. So when I see a weapon like that being used against one of our own, like Bob Nodell, thanks for the 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath Bob Nodell. say, the trolls on their side, having utilised that crossbow. Well, I'm more than happy to see a few of those crossbows lying around, pick it up, and aim it at Dan's face. And go, kapow! Thanks, Dan. No reference frames. That's a great weapon, isn't it? The thing you want to defend and laugh at us about ends up being the very thing that's held against you. A bit like Newton. Don't ascribe this to me. I know, we'll call it Newton's. Let's call it his. Right? No drift,
Well, the
Dan.
problem was Newton was thinking out loud.
I think he was in a private letter. I think he was in the Principia, was it? He was in a private letter to somebody.
Yeah, it was a back and forth, a letter exchange.
Yeah, I thought it was. Even if you just be aware, even if you're sending letters to somebody in private, there's a good chance it'll be hung up on someone's wall with "check out this dude" saying he didn't want Newtonian gravity to be ascribed to him.
Correct.
Yeah, got to be careful. Those sorts of things might catch up with you, catch you out eventually. Anyway.
I know. I've conceded that I'll probably end up proving the globe by accident.
I think you want that, Arwin. It's not like Newton where he's like, keep that shit away from me. You're saying, look, Globers, pay me money to prove your bullshit. That's what you want that. You're actively seeking it.
How much you asking for again, Owen?
$10 million.
What? No, 6 million. 6 million is good enough.
It's euros. None of your funny money.
Or pounds. That's even better.
Anyway, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
None whatsoever.
Shout out to Del West Watson for the kapow super chat. It is kapow though, isn't it? If you're right into your mate
I don't
game,
know. I've shot arrows before. I've never heard it go kapow.
the sound of the crossbow, does the bow goes forward? Oh God, forget it.
No, it's more like a ching.
Oh, I'll win.
I'm not. How do you spell that?
It's
You don't.
audio.
It's
Oh,
a sound.
It was a mild aside analogy with slightly graphic connotations attached, I'll agree, to describe the own goal. You know, an own goal is me picking up one of their weapons and just firing it straight back at them. And one of their weapons has been used against Newton in this example. Let's get this back on track. Scientific evidence for gravity, right? Well, let's move on. Single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. Maybe someone can bring up Dr. Becky, just so we can be back on track.
How about Dr. Becky?
How about Dr. Becky? Wow. It's like I'm a
I was
mind
just going to
reader.
talk about her.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how are things?
Oh, hey, Brian.
Good talk. Talk about Dr. Becky. Go on.
I watched one of our videos the other day, yesterday I think it was, and I don't remember any of it. That's what Dr. Becky's putting out.
Nothing about it?
I can't remember anything. Even like the title, not anything. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're saying you watch it and it's kind of a nothing burger at the end of it. You're like, yeah, I watched that and time went by.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Sorry I'm late. Coriolis got the best of me.
No, your
We're working
reference
against
frames
the
are
spin.
ruined, man.
You should have accounted for it.
I went the opposite direction, so I was fighting against Earth then.
Damn those Coriolis planes moving backward.
I like the own goal analogy a lot because it's like Simon Dan felt some pressure, turned around, the goalie is on his team, doesn't fear anything, and Simon Dan just kicks it to his own goal and says, I'll teach you flat earthers. What?
The backward shot.
How?
I think
Any of
Sorry,
you, by the way, catch Ballbusters yesterday? It was really good. It's going to be a series.
Wasn't it Ballbusters, was it? I think it was like QE Live.
Yeah. Whatever. Ballbusters.
Yeah,
He always plays the Ballbusters intro, dude. So
So do I.
But,
I play it on all my clips. Because the reason it gets played like that, or the reason I use it like that, I can't speak for QE, is because we're a team, and often most of the clips have got the Ballbusters team in it, right? It's going to be you or 10th or Sleeping Warrior. You know, the only one that doesn't necessarily often appear is Bible Literalist, but, you know, she does her thing, and I promote her often. If she's ever in the chat, I'll shout her out.
So that intro is like the Flat Earth Avengers, so I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's amazing.
It might be a Spider-Man movie, but you might as well have the Avengers intro.
Kapow.
Exactly.
Oh, I love the intro, but it does tend to make me call everything on QE's channel Globe or Ballbuster. So
Fair enough. That's kind of like the analogy with the Avengers. It's like not necessarily just a show title. You are a Ballbusters. I got it. Like most of this, it's all totally plagiarized from Globebusters. You know, that's how they used to refer to themselves. You're a Globebuster. And I was like, yeah, why not? Makes sense.
they plagiarized Ghostbusters.
Everyone's
more
plagiarized
overtly.
everyone at some point, right? Let's not get into it too much.
And
Especially as this is...
Ballbusters has a double meaning too, you know. That's the funny thing about it. It's not just the ball earth, it's also busting their balls.
Yeah, but it's obvious and overt. It's obvious and overt plagiarism of one of our counterparts, though, isn't it?
Every flat earther is a ballbuster. Can't help it.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Indeed.
Under the sun?
See, if you go today,
Are you talking Euclidean?
The rise of flat Earth is to the point where if you say anything about the sphere model, people will look at you and say, "Don't tell me you're a flat earther," like this connotation to the way they say it, right? Don't tell me you're one of those flat earthers. Okay,
Yeah.
so I talk about an inconsistency to your model, and you're going to call me a flat earther. What do you mean by that? Let's talk about the inconsistency. Let's keep it on that before you give me a name or a label.
My immediate response to that is, there's no actual measurable curvature, so that would therefore make you a flat earther as well. So thank you.
Wow, kapow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so.
sorry.
That's so good.
You get another pallet of kids?
He did actually say that. You remember?
Did I say what?
I do.
Can't remember the exact phraseology. It obviously was intentionally for a laugh, taken out of context. But it's words to the effect of, I've just got another pallet of kids in.
Oh, when I said palette of kits, I said kits.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There was obviously there you go. So there's a grammatical.
No, I don't get pallets of kids in my job. Thanks.
That would be Joe Biden.
Wrapped in plastic and all.
Right,
Wow.
let's draw a line under this. Okay. Right, no more. No pedo jokes, please.
Let's move on.
Let's move on rapidly. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No,
P waves and S waves that at every step of actually empirically testing the predictions have been predicted wrong, yet they keep the story as it is.
Yeah.
I was told the same way you do a sonogram and you could tell what's going on inside the human body. That's what they do.
Yeah,
with the
because they're totally
molten
accurate. Yeah, we're
That's
90,
really
95.
nice, but the body isn't 10 miles deep.
No, but they still get that wrong occasionally, don't they?
Keep predicting.
It's going to be a boy. Yeah, for sure. 95% saying, hey, it's a girl.
They keep predicting earthquakes after they happen.
yeah, exactly.
No, but they can extract patterns from the rhythms of the earthquakes and then deduce a pattern from that and then predict if it's going to get worse. Or that is a real thing. It's basically a mathematical deduction process, which is also part of geology. But
Yes.
that doesn't mean they can predict exactly when a new event, when a new symptom will arrive. That's
Yes,
out of their control. But they can tell how long it will take before it will reach a maximum and all that.
Right, but
Well, I live in California. I live in California where there's a lot of earthquakes, right? So we get one that everybody feels. Then we go on the site, and there's all these sites that you go to that measure earthquakes in California within your county, your region. And so we go there and we say, okay, well, what's that on the Richter scale? And it says like 2.9 or whatever. And then you just scroll back and you see that there was all these tremors and all these other readings. And you find out that every day there's an earthquake in California. You just don't feel it. So what's the point? One day the big one's coming, and until then, all these little tremors. And all they're measuring is movement.
Measuring. Right, they're taking measurements. Seismology. If it's to be asserted as science, it isn't. If it was, it makes it pseudoscience because they're taking measurements. They're not making scientific predictions. They're not validating hypotheses. But no more than I call then.
Some years ago.
Oh, Brian, sorry.
I'll keep it short.
Well, it falls into engineering, really.
It's measuring
Just
stuff.
using technology and logic to be able to manage, large scale, earthly scale things a little bit better. That's it.
Well, Brian, that was really short.
Common knowledge.
I don't think Alan heard me say anything.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I did
No,
say
I
go
didn't
ahead,
hear
Brian.
a word. No.
Just try again. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's only a silly story. I was in Japan years ago. I stayed there for a while, and in Japan, I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but they have really small apartments, and they have a wet room that you would go in and you would shower in or bath in, and it's just one big wet room. When I say big, it's small, but it's just one wet room. And it was early in the morning. I was up and I was brushing my teeth in this wet room over the bath. And everything was shaking around the place. And I was so dopey, I was thinking, these bloody trains. It was an earthquake. That's what I was feeling.
I've been in an earthquake here. So at about 3 a.m, I was up in Wolverhampton with some rather shady characters, but we won't get into that bit of the story. And one of them was making tea, and we're all sat around doing what we're doing. And suddenly the room starts shaking. Now, this is England, right? This would have been in about the year 2000, maybe 2001. I'd have been about 21 at the time. Anyway, before we've even looked at each other to go, what's going on? Which is obviously the reaction from us, because at the time none of us Brits had been in an earthquake. But the guy who was making the Indian tea was gone instantly, and we were in a block of flats. So he was gone. He was out the building, gone, before we even knew what was going on. And when it was over, we're like, where's he gone? He's disappeared. He's just vanished. Right? Not, you guys might be in danger. Save yourself. Nothing like that. Just gone. Out the door, gone. And it reminded me of, like, if you've ever sat on a washing machine on its last cycle, ladies, right? The way it shakes around, right? That's what it felt like, right? Just a really big mass of stuff all moving at once, which is what the room was doing, because everything's moving. And like I say, at the time, I'd never experienced that. I have been in earthquakes subsequent to that, but that was the first time I'd ever experienced one. And it was here in Britain. And I can't remember where the epicenter was, but relatively close to Wolverhampton for us to feel it in the strength that we did. But people around the country then reported about it in the mornings as stuff had fallen off the walls. And for most people, it was nothing. But like I say, we were relatively close to the epicenter. And the most noteworthy thing was the Asian dude that just, obviously, when he got back, he explained, look, I've been in plenty of earthquakes, man. I weren't hanging around to tell you guys to be safe. I was gone. So, yeah. Now about that tea that I left on.
Maybe you experienced axial rotation.
Maybe. I'm just going to read out Del West Watson's super chat. He says, Kapow is the sound of a gun, by the way, from Western comics. Revolvers, mainly. Bit of useless information for you, laughy face. I don't know, that's useful information. I mean, Arwen's already corrected us on the actual correct comic book vernacular for a crossbow. Not that this is important, but there we go. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. It's been a tough month.
Well,
No, I didn't.
Well,
and I
no,
want to
well,
correct
make the sound.
Arwen because
Hold on,
Arwen
Chocolate.
said
Important
before
stuff.
You can't
Chocolate.
spell out a sound.
Hold on, Chocolate.
Well,
Hold on.
Stanley proved you wrong with that because he described the sound of Spider-Man's web shooters with the word "twit."
What about
Well, that's a
Batman?
convention still, but
Oh my god.
this is really going bad.
Batman in
no.
the
But
60s.
crossbow sounds like because you have two elements. You got the arrow that's still touching, scraping past the crossbow very shortly, and there is the bow element itself that's usually metal. That's like a spring, ding, and then the. So
Oh
there's
my
several
God,
things
nobody
going on, and that makes
cares.
that combined sound.
Oh,
Silence, Legolas.
God.
Sorry.
Somebody get me a crossbow. Right. Last but not by no means least, any evidence of the R value? Earth radius, the presupposition thereof.
Radius, you say?
Yeah.
Of the Earth?
What is this radius you speak of? What is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Its origin seems to be becoming more and more mysterious, doesn't it? Because it's not Biruni anymore. Because they don't claim Biruni anymore. So it's some mysterious place in the past that this radius turned up, and I don't know.
What if I said? What if I said that I could potentially at some point figure out how to calculate the radius of the celestial sphere?
For 7 million euros.
No, within the flat Earth conception, not within a heliocentric. That's ridiculous. I don't feel like just taking an arbitrary, insane large number and then no. No, I'm talking about the celestial apparent sphere to us, because it could go several steps, not science, by the way, but by establishing that it is very likely that these lights are practically as a holographic phenomena at the edge of our vision. Then we can calculate per viewer or per camera type what is the typical limit line of sight, what is the edge of vision range, and then when you figure that out through optics, then you can establish what the technical radius is of the apparent celestial sphere.
Yeah, but they say the celestial, but they even say the celestial sphere is now real and it goes for infinite, so they don't even believe it.
Just a quick shout out to Rakia Life. He says, Earth must be rotating more this year. Full stop. 5th hurricane headed my way so far this season. And by season, I mean seems to be created by weather. Lol. Rakia. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Dave.
The radius value, actually, the actual radius value that they quote is from Pythagoras. He's who gave them everything. 8 inches per mile square is from Pythagoras. Everything is from Pythagoras. He was just a mathematician or a mathematician.
Well, no,
the only writings about him that I could find any evidence of was from someone who grew up a quarter mile away from him, and they said he was a snake oil salesman. So there's a radius value, you know. But that's where it actually comes from, because after that it was just Aristarchus promoting this idea and elaborating on it, and whatever, maybe they were trying to make a heliocentric model out of it, and then you have Eratosthenes begging the question, fitting a square peg into a mathematical square hole that was designed for that peg to go into. And then you have Biruni claiming to measure something that he couldn't see. So, you know,
and today, Brian, and today we have who?
Oh, hold on.
P-Man Dan.
Hold on.
Hold
on. The Pythagorean bit was the end of the story. So that's where you've got your Pythagorean maths being applied by Biruni, right?
Yeah, Pythagoras is the origin of all of it. He gave the 24,900 plus circumference. That's all Pythagoras. Everything is Pythagoras.
Yep.
So from him originally.
But the original.
It's funny, when you look up Eratosthenes, it says it was around 500 BC that Pythagoras first proposed a spherical Earth mainly on aesthetic grounds rather than on any physical evidence. Isn't that funny?
Hey, Nathan, I did a short video on this called From Rhetoric to Trench, and Brian and you were featured on it. So I just posted a master beat. It's only like 1 minute 51 seconds. If you want, you can play it. It covers
Sure.
this whole thing.
Did we cover all the housekeeping questions? Is that it? I think it is.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
Or maybe not gas pressure without a container. Maybe that one
No,
still.
you're right. We didn't cover that. So how can you have gas pressure without a container? Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon? For all those fundies who think the sky is a vacuum, a space for gas to fill.
How we
Wait.
Can
But you
we
need
thank
container
Gen Panda
wait.
for that one? Says
Tell us
there's
more.
no way to ever demonstrate that.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
falsify it.
There's no way to ever show that or falsify it. What? Your sky vacuum? Gas pressure without a container? Yeah, it's non-existent. You can't have vacuums in nature. Nature abhors a vacuum. And every single demonstration that will ever exist ever with gas pressure will have containment.
Yeah, but you can't prove it's not possible.
Yeah, right.
Argument from ignorance, isn't it?
Big
It
gas
is.
pressure out of container.
Say again, Neil?
How would you demonstrate the gas pressure without a container?
No, how would you demonstrate it?
Hello.
I don't know. How would you demonstrate it?
Speaking of pickle, Rick,
You have gas pressure and then
Brian, you made a connection with Pythagoras with 8 inches per mile all the way to current day pickle Rick. You want to go over that?
Sure thing, yeah. There's a timeline, you see, that led us to yesterday and today. And that timeline starts with Pythagoras, as he created a mathematical reference model. It's him that gave us the 8 inches per mile squared. He gave us the original calculations for the globe. Now, his ideas were promoted by Aristarchus after him, and then Eratosthenes tested his pre-assumptions by pre-assuming, right, exactly what he said, and then getting the almost exact same calculation for a circumference. And then after that, Biruni in the 11th century, what he did was calculate another pre-assumed radius value, okay? And then we end up yesterday and today with Picklewick, Choiky, and Ed Fries. That's what we get.
Oh my God.
From Pythagoras.
What a team. Is that the bridges?
But no, it's just an accurate description from rhetoric to trench. That's all it is.
Sounds like a timeline for a movie.
It does.
From the producers of Die Hard, from rhetoric to trench. Coming soon.
Yeah.
The sound effects at the end made it.
I love it when Arwen goes, "What a team!"
From rhetoric to trench. That was great.
So quick shout out to Michael Jones. He says, ballers in chat obsessed with maths because they don't have science. Big laughy face. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Michael Jones.
I've listened
What
to
did I Sorry.
I listened to the ballers, not recently, but I did in the past, listen to them arguing on Jose's about the 8 inches per mile squared. And George Netchuk and someone else, I can't remember who it was, put them straight on where it came from, that it came from Pythagoras. And that if you actually do the maths correctly, it doesn't just turn out to be just a parabola, I think. It does turn out to be a circle or a sphere or whatever. But he actually put him and someone else put them straight. But a lot of them were arguing and they didn't know. They actually don't know. If you ask most of them where does 8 inches per mile square come from, they'd say, oh, that's just an engineer's thing or some nonsense, or a surveyor's thing or some rubbish. They actually, most of them don't even know where it comes from. They don't know. They don't even know the timeline of things. Most of them would even tell you that Aristophanes was probably even before Pythagoras, and they don't know. They don't even know the timeline. No, I'm not saying any of these people even existed. I don't know, but at least I have my timelines right on the people that may or may not have existed.
Hey, Flatsoid.
He's on mute. Yeah, Brian, they still have to give us numbers. If they say we're on the sphere, and the numbers we get is 8 inches per mile square, radius of 3959. So obviously they're describing a sphere. They can't back away from it now. Now, the problem is with those numbers, none of what those numbers should show us what those numbers should show us.
No.
Can you show the numbers from Biruni?
Why? It's your claim.
No. I never claimed Biruni.
Yeah, your claim.
No.
Your claim.
No.
Your claim.
No, it's mentioned in the Black Swan.
Yo! Your claim. You claim Earth's a sphere. You claim Biruni's measured a physical geometric sphere edge horizon with a dip angle. That's you. That's your claim, not ours. Why are you asking us to give the measurements? You give them us, and then justify why you can't see it. Biruni's measuring geometry, physical sphere edge, to give him R. Something you tell us we can't see, and now you're asking us to give you the measurements for your claim. God, what are you, Simon Dan? It's your claim. Hello? Biruni's part of your rhetoric, not ours. Do you fundies think because we parrot back your rhetoric so clearly, because we know your arguments and rhetoric so well, that you need to challenge us like it's our claim? Biruni's part of your rhetoric, you complete clown! Hello? Your claim?
I never said Biruni.
That's part of your fundy rhetoric of being on a sphere. What kind of idiots are we now dealing with? Have they all turned into Simon Dan? Are you now going to try and ask us about how Biruni works so you can debunk Biruni? It's your claim! Are you really this foolish?
Told you, I've never seen any Biruni measurements.
Are they still yours? I don't give a shit what you've seen. Oh, you haven't seen Biruni. Like I care. I know that we know your rhetoric better than you do. Yet we know all about Biruni and you've never even seen it. What a shock. It's your rhetoric. We know all about it. You haven't got the first clue, but you're going to start challenging us on it. It's your claim! You're really thick, Globers.
Wait, wasn't he defending Biruni
like
a few weeks ago?
Yep.
So
what the hell?
Where are the numbers?
He's now claiming Biruni's in the Black Swan. Where does it say Biruni in the Black Swan argument?
What?
Oh my God.
Doesn't understand the argument. That's the problem here. He's saying Biruni's in the Black Swan. No. When you tell us in response to the Black Swan that we cannot see the geometric horizon, that would be Earth curve, physical geometric sphere edge obstruction called Earth curve. That's what you're saying you can't see in response to the Black Swan. And we point out that the specifics of that geometric horizon is supposed to be measured by Biruni in your story! Not mine, you dipshit. Are you really this thick, Simon Dan? Man, I don't know why I've laboured the point so much. You're all like it. Obviously, we know your story so well that you think it's our story.
That's really crazy. How they
Is this Ed that's doing that?
Yeah.
Is this? Was it?
I never claimed
Again, maybe I'm crazy.
Hey, did you hear that? I never claimed Biruni. It's your... Why am I losing my shit with this guy? He's obviously thick. The fact that you're not claiming it's irrelevant, you're a globehead, it's part of your faith. Doesn't matter if you voiced it, you're a fundy globehead. That's your origin story you're saying you haven't claimed. Doesn't matter, mate, it's part of your fundy origin story being on a globe. The fact that you don't know it just makes you ignorant.
But I'm trying to point out, he was in here weeks ago defending Biruni that he used refraction to measure the dip angle of the horizon. So all of a sudden, that's not your argument now.
It's just a liar.
No, I just went I just gave you the sake of argument. Do you not understand how it works?
So you don't understand your rhetoric, is that what you're saying?
Do we not understand your claim? Yeah, that was my first point. That was my opener. You're asking us to detail it to you, and it's your claim.
Wow, Ed, these tactics are becoming worse and worse every day, brother.
Can you demonstrate any of it?
Sorry, you still going to hang on to this burden of proof reversal fallacy shite? Mate, let's try one last time. Then I'll kick you out like I did yesterday for the exact same nonsense. This isn't our claim. Yeah, we know your rhetoric like the back of our hand to the point where we can detail it so concisely that you think it's our claim that now we need to go in and justify for you. You've already admitted, even though it's a lie because you've argued it here before, thanks Chocolate, that you don't claim this. Lie. Total lie. He's argued it before. Total liar. Like all of them. Liar. Scum. Liar. He's on the globe side. He's arguing for a globe. But by default, he's going to be a scumbag liar. So he has demonstrated himself to be a liar. Chocolate's pointed that out. He has argued Al Biruni. He's saying it's not his claim. Why? Well, because he wants us to start justifying what Al Biruni's done. The only reason Al Biruni's discussed is because the Black Swan destroys the idea of having physical Earth curvature. That would be a tangent point blocking boats and buildings with physicality. You tell us you can't see it, well, that leaves Al Biruni screwed, because he's claimed to measure it. For you! You get it, you dipshit?
What even?
So the Black Swan
actually
attacks Al Biruni?
No. You say we can't see physical Earth curve edge in the form of a geometric horizon as a response to the Black Swan, and Al Biruni's claimed to have measured it to give it you. You, not me. All this silence is because you can't quite believe that I'm pointing out you're asking us to justify your fundy faith and backstory. It's yours, not mine, dipshit.
You guys are the only
You were
one
in
who
here
mentioned
arguing
Al
this
Biruni.
very same nonsense. Like, what are you doing right now?
Lying.
Are you displaying how ridiculous you are?
Lying is what it's doing.
Yeah.
No, I'm pointing out that the only guys using Al Biruni is you.
Oh, really? So, like Simon Dan, so what, the only ones using reference frames is us? No, we do not use a dip angle measurement to a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve to claim we've got a measurement of a radius of an Earth that's sphere-shaped. That's your claim, you complete idiot!
Ed, are you about to tell us the geometric horizon is ruined? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. It's our claim, right? So go ahead, Ed. If it's our claim of Al Biruni, why aren't I playing into this? You're right, Ed. Let's do a bit of reverse psychology. That's our claim. Go ahead and debunk it. Go on.
So it's a straw man.
You're saying Al Biruni's a straw man?
I'm saying you guys talking about
you don't know what
Al
to do, do
Biruni
you?
as if it's our
You're saying
claim
Al
is a
Biruni's.
straw
You're
man.
saying the only one claiming Al Biruni's us. So debunk it then. Go on you go.
You guys are talking about Al Biruni.
So debunk it then.
As if we are using it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a
we are.
straw
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So so go ahead and debunk
that's a
it.
straw man?
Explain how it's a straw man.
You agree that's a straw man?
You're the one making the claim here. God, do we have to lead you by the hand and explain every one of your own claims for you? Another burden of proof reversal fallacy. It's your claim again, mate. Hello?
Now, you guys are telling us we're using Al Biruni, but it's just you telling us that. So it's a straw man.
Oh, really? It's not down in Wikipedia, part of your history, absolutely established as a dip angle measurement used to measure radius. That's just us making it up, is it? The guy who says he doesn't claim this and doesn't know and hasn't read Biruni, again, mistaking that we're claiming this and saying we've just made it up. No, we haven't made up Al Biruni. It's definitely part of the globe rhetoric. It's absolutely annihilated when you use a rebuttal that claims you can't see something he's claimed to have measured for your claim of a sphere that we're annihilating with a Black Swan argument that demonstrates you can't see that which Al Biruni's supposed to have measured.
Right, but we
Keep
never
going, Ed.
used Al Biruni.
This is great.
That's just you
Great.
claiming we did.
Ed, are you saying
So
Al
that's a
Biruni's
straw
a flat
man.
earther?
What, Al Biruni's a straw man? Your claim of Al Biruni measuring a geometric horizon is a straw man?
No.
No, kudos, Ed. Thanks for that. Yeah. Oh, maybe you're going to tell us now that we're not claiming Al Biruni because you're debunking it as a straw man when we don't claim Al Biruni. So if you want to claim Al Biruni's a straw man, given that we don't claim him.
You claim that we use Al Biruni.
Yeah, you do. He measures dip angle to give you R. I know you haven't read it and don't understand it, even though you've argued and then lied about arguing it. But yeah, that's definitely part of your rhetoric, whether you like it or not, or have read it or not, or are ignorant or not. Al Biruni's definitely part of your backstory to give you a geometric, physical sphere edge horizon to measure dip to from an astronomical horizon that's imaginary to derive an R value that you use in your geometry. That's Al Biruni, mate. Your story, not mine. Maybe tell me he's a straw man again. Debunk Al Biruni. Knock yourself out.
So what's the tactic
what
here?
is
Like,
Al
you were in
Biruni?
here
He
defending it, and now you're turning it on us. So it has been so bad for you that now you have to turn the argument that you got destroyed on us? Is that what you're doing?
What is his claim?
No, I'm asking you to
of
provide
the
at
geometric
least
horizon?
one source that uses Al Biruni to verify the globe. Can you do that?
Hey,
Can you show at
Ed,
least
where'd you
one
get your
source
radius
that
from?
uses Al Biruni?
Yeah.
Can you show at least one that uses Al Biruni?
We don't. It's your claim. He's never going to get it. He's going to keep asking us to give him his backstory with Al Biruni. It's not ours. We don't give a shit. Okay, he never existed. So where'd you get R from? Thanks, Chocolate, by the way.
Yep.
So you agree then that telling us
Hey, Ed,
we use
where did
Al
you get your
Biruni
R
is a
value
straw
from,
man on
Ed?
your part? So you agree then? You telling us we use Al Biruni is a straw man on your end?
Ed,
Is that
where
it?
did you get your R value from, Ed? Do you know?
No, I asked a simple question.
Not our claim. We don't use Al Biruni for anything you do. You're saying it's a straw man to use him. You don't use him. So we're saying subsequently you've got no R value, and then you're being asked where'd you get it, and now you're just keeping us. Oh no! Interrupt Fundy mute while I point out the point here. Do you want to repeat it, Chocolate?
Yeah, Ed, where did you get your R value from?
You are telling us we use Al Biruni in our argument.
Hold on, Ed. Which one of us claims a radius of the sphere? Flat Earthers or you guys?
Yeah, so you telling us we use Al Biruni.
Will you
in our
answer the
argument,
question, Ed? Which one of us claims a radius?
That's a straw man on your end.
That's
not
a
us.
question. Which one of us has a claim of a radius?
But do you understand that that's a straw man on your end?
Ed, I'm asking you a question. You, as a
Yeah, and I
Glober,
asked first.
what argument
You're
are you
dodging.
making? Do you have a
I
radius
asked
value, Ed?
first, you're dodging.
Because I, as a flat earther, have no radius.
Hello. Stop. Chocolate and Ed. So, Ed, you're saying you asked first. So, if you get an answer, will you answer Chocolate?
If you answer my question.
Yeah. Okay.
And the question
asked,
is, I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it.
Go on.
Yeah. You telling us we use Al Biruni in our argument is a straw man on your end. Do you agree?
Okay. If you
Yes
want to
or
say
no?
you don't use Al Biruni, then fine. I'll concede to you in this argument saying you don't use Al Biruni. That leads on to Chocolate's question quite nicely. Now, hopefully, you'll answer Chocolate. Go ahead, Chocolate.
Yeah, Ed, I just want to know where you got your radius value from.
Other measurements.
Can you go into more detail,
Just
please? Thanks.
measurements made of Earth. Just measurements made
Wow.
of Earth.
Yes, that's what he's asking you for. That's correct. Thank you for confirming his question. Now, can you answer it, please?
This vague place that they have this radius value from now.
Well, you
Remember I said
you
they
take
don't
some
have any-
measurements of
Hang on.
Earth.
Yeah, and
Go
those are...
Yeah, and then you apply some math, and there you go.
What are the what measurements? We're saying where'd you get R, and you're saying you get them from measurements, and then maths. Okay, yeah, those will be maybe the tools that you'll apply, the language that you'll use, but what are the actual processes of getting this R value that's relinquished by you telling us that your origin for it, which is Al-Biruni, is a straw man. And we've gone, okay, straw man. Okay, well, if you say so. Where'd you get it? Maths and measurements.
Well, I'm glad you agreed, Al-Biruni.
So where'd you get it? Not we agree that you relinquish your own backstory. Yeah, fine, that's hysterical and all. You throwing your own rhetoric under the bus, a bit like Simon Dan with drift and reference frames. You're throwing your own characters under the bus here, and we're cool with that. Yeah. You know, if you want to throw Al-Biruni under the bus and say, not my man, it's like, well, he's definitely not ours. But yeah, fine. But then you're under the analysis of where'd you get R, and you're saying maths and measurements. Yeah, but you've been asked where? What maths? What measurements?
Right, so I'm glad you agreed. The Black Swan debunks a straw man.
No, not the Black Swan debunks a straw man. What a weasel. Sorry, is that what we conceded, audience? Or is this a globe scumbag taking his minor concession that he's debunking his own argument to mean that suddenly the Black Swan's involved in that, when we'd already pointed out that Biruni's not even mentioned? We just point out in rebuttal, if you're going to say we can't see it, then Al-Biruni can't measure it. Nothing to do with the Black Swan, more based on your rebuttal that we can't see Earth curve. So no, Weasley scumbag. Why would you be so Weasley and scummy?
Give us the who,
you said
where,
the
and
Black
when.
Swan attacks
Please.
Al-Biruni.
I specifically said Al-Biruni's not in the Black Swan. Your rebuttal is we can't see a geometric horizon, and that would mean, in turn, thereafter, that Al-Biruni can't measure it. So no, again, you Weasley scumbag, are you just too stupid to comprehend my words? Too slow. I get it. He's too slow. These explanations are coming too quickly, right? Speaking too fast for you? Maybe I need to slow it down because you're ignorant and stupid.
So what is the Black Swan debunking then, Nathan?
Geometric Earth curve. You claim there's this physical obstruction blocking things in the distance. You measure it with geometry, and that would require an R value. And when you tell us you can't see it, we cannot see the geometric horizon. Well, why are you telling us that? Well, we're going to move it with an R-based refraction. Oh, R-based, you say? Well, then you're going to need R. Where are you getting R from? Well, let's have a look. Flick. Backstory. Here we go. Where's their origin? Oh, it's Al-Biruni. But according to you, that's a straw man. Your backstory for your radius that'll be used to move a claim to be physical obstruction known as Earth curve, debunked by the Black Swan. What's that you say we can't see it? Well, what's Al-Biruni measuring? Nothing to do with the Black Swan, just in response to your rebuttal that we can no longer see Earth curve.
Yes. No, because we measure the
Sorry,
Earth in
so
other
are you
ways.
saying
We don't care about Al-Biruni.
You don't care about Al-Biruni, he's measuring R. Where'd you get R from?
No, we're measuring the Earth in other ways. We don't care about Al-Biruni.
What are those other ways?
Just other ways. What do you want? Hello?
Yeah, I heard you. Other ways, what do you want? Well, the other ways, please.
Yeah, what do you want?
The other ways, you say, have been used to measure R, given that we've detailed that you're debunking your own backstory of Al-Biruni by saying it's a straw man? A bit of an own goal, wouldn't you admit, given that you're now just telling us what do you want? Well, the measurements you say you've got beyond Al-Biruni that you're debunking as a straw man, as a total own goal, given that we've explained to you in detail it's your own story, but you wouldn't accept that. Now you've debunked him, said it's a straw man, you don't accept him. All right. Hey, fundies watching this. One of your own is a bit like Simon Dan when he flew in the face of Neil deGrasse Tyson. This dude is flying in the face of Al-Biruni. He's just relinquishing. It's like you guys are burning your own model left and right.
What about Aristophanes?
Yep.
Is he a straw man too?
Yeah. Who else can we throw under the bus here?
Yeah.
Anyone else from heliocentric history you want to claim is a straw man? Ed, feel free, man. This is great.
They won't have anyone
No, these
left
are
over.
your arguments.
Our arguments. Yeah, a bit like reference frames, right? My argument, right? I claim Earth's turning underneath stuff. Oh, no, I don't, do I? Al Biruni's not my argument. Earth turn isn't my argument. I just can concisely summarise your argument so well that you think it's my argument. So then you come here like complete clowns and debunk your own argument. It's like, wow, he makes that Al Biruni argument. Well, I'm going to debunk that as a straw man. Yeah, you realise that's your argument, my friend. But kudos. Like Simon Dan, dribbling the ball around me and kicking it into the back of the net and saying, well, hey, I've debunked your reference frames, not realising that that's his goal. He's scored an own goal. That's what you're doing when you tell me Al Biruni part of your rhetoric's a straw man. It's not my claim. You've just said boldly and openly that it's our claim of Al Biruni. Measuring dip angles for geometric sphere-edge horizons. No! Earth is obviously and observably flat, and deriving a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon by way of a dip angle to something you tell us we can't see is devastating for your argument. Not my argument with Al Biruni. I don't have one, you clown.
How did you measure this flatness?
Sorry, with Al Biruni? You think Al Biruni's measuring it flat for us?
He probably
No, I'm
did.
asking you, how did you measure flatness?
We haven't got to the where'd you get R from, given that you've said your backstory's a straw man, your globe story's annihilated, you've decided to kick the ball into the back of your own net and say that your own backstory you don't claim and is a straw man? Yeah, I'll try again. We're not claiming it, mate. You are. Own goal. Biruni's not ours!
The Earth is... Right,
Where's R coming from, mate? You've got geometry and Earth curve calculators that are lacking an R. So where are you getting it?
So how did you measure the Earth to be observably flat?
Sorry, mate, you've claimed that your own argument of getting R from Biruni's a straw man. Chocolate's asked you. Chocolate, are you there to take up the reins again? Because Chocolate asked you where'd you get R and you've said maths and stuff. And what do you want? Is that the end of your argument? Yeah, of course it is. We already know. Why are we pummeling him? Yeah, audience, if you didn't realise already, Biruni is actually the globe side story. Him coming here to try and debunk it like it's mine is an own goal. And should he relinquish that shite, his shite, Al Biruni, shite, that claims to measure the horizon as a physical Earth curve edge, that's debunked with the Black Swan. It's not. And you'll tell us how not physical it is in response. Yeah, thanks, Ed. That was great.
Now I wish to know, how did you verify it's observably flat?
Sorry, mate, why are you going on from your annihilation? Do you think that after being absolutely pummeled that you've got the right to ask us questions? No, you made a claim, and then you annihilated your own backstory. What, you think it's now move on to something we haven't claimed yet?
You just said it in your rant. The Earth is observably flat.
Yeah. The other day we had it up from your side. The general consensus, the schools, tell the kids, we appreciate that you observe the world as being flat. We also appreciate that without this R we're asking you about, all of the maths takes place on a plane and then has R added. So without R, all of the maths is flat too. So we're still on this R value, and you've just annihilated the backstory for it. But you want to move on? Yeah, any maths that you use on the globe side, any, just remove the R, and there's your proof, mate. Unless you can give us R, because that's added to flat mathematics.
So you don't have measurements of...
Yeah, any, because they'll all either be flat or have R added. I just said that. Are you deaf?
No, you just said remove R.
Yeah. So find some maths and either give me the presuppositional R value beyond maths and stuff, or accept that all of those mathematics are done on a plane and have an R that apparently has got maths and stuff to justify it, and Biruni, who's apparently measured it, for your side of this argument, he didn't measure it. And it's not your story, and you've thrown him under the bus. So we've got maths for flat measurements and an R value with no proof for it that's added to the flat maths. So yeah, any of them, unless you can justify R, can you?
So you just have maths and no measurements then?
Yeah! All of the maths and measurements that have measured the flat plane we're on, and is obviously and observably flat as taught to children, all of it's flat. And yet some of it has got an R added. And we're saying the outrageous claim that we have people antipodal to us. Have you got any proof for that? And what we've had from you is, well, the backstory with Biruni, I'm throwing under the bus. The reason he's throwing it under the bus is because it's debunked with the Black Swan. And then he's saying he's got maths and stuff. That's what you've got. So beyond your maths and stuff, you've got no justification for adding in R to flat measurements.
Right, so no measurements then? Can you even show one?
All of them! I've just said this 3 times. I'm going to kick you out unless you acknowledge what I've just said. Because obviously something uncomfortable and difficult for your argument, which doesn't have a justification for R, which will be in the maths I'm using. Unless you've got that R, there'll be flat maths. Now, I've said that 4 times. It's getting unreasonable.
You screamed at me many times that maths are not reality.
Ed, this is such a fail for you, man.
You're asking me for what maths I've got, and I'm saying, yeah, any that have been measured. All flat. You know, assuming a tangent plane, assuming an R value, and then measuring it flat, that's what they do. Well, that's my justification. And I'm saying, well, beyond that, you can add in R, which is what you do. And you're saying, well, based on my questioning you of what you've got to prove flat, which is everything ever, unless you've got the R that's added in as a presupposition, everything will justify my point of view. And the point of view that's taught to children, which is that it's obviously and observably flat. So yeah, I have got justification. The only thing added's are, you've thrown the only thing that's claimed to be measuring it under the bus.
Right, so just to be clear, the next time someone brings up math, you won't scream at us that it's not reality?
Not if you don't reify it.
Apparently, your math is not reality,
no, because
right?
because that's
you
the
thought
pattern.
that the radius was reality.
You are using
Apparently,
math.
you just debunked it. So thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Biruni debunked. Shame you're not somebody, or this would get trimmed out as being important. But you're just a nobody. So in ultimate terms, it means nothing that Ed throws Al Biruni under the bus. Unlike Simon Dan, happy days when you're throwing Drift under the bus. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to both Discord and G+ panels. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Fortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. I think there was actually one last super chat that I'll shout out, so shout out to James Richard. Can ballers give one example of something being measured in which you cannot see? Yeah, right on. If you can't see a geometric horizon, you can't measure it, and that's the whole point of this argument. If Al Biruni's claim to measure a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon, then you better be able to see it. Once again, if you are watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering stream, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!